Here's the Intercept piece that friend of the show, Kent Klippenstein, wrote on a leaked memo. Leaked Bank of America memo. We hope conditions for American workers will get worse. For the record, this is not even a leak. I mean, fucking here you go. I mean, this is the only difference between this and like and the average fucking what do you call it? The average textbook, the average econ textbook is that like leftists like to put a face and a name to the actual humans, okay, at the widget factory. If you think about it from a theoretical perspective, as you're learning it in your textbook, you never think about in econ classes. You never learn about like the human beings that are at the widget factory, right? You just think about human beings as an asset that is a part of the productive. That is a part of how human beings and the labor force is just simply an asset. It's a number, okay? It's just capital stock, a resource. Thank you, exactly. Whereas in the real world, you're the fucking human being, so you recognize it. Like when Powell says. The chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, says his goal ultimately is to depress wages. He's literally talking about human beings. He's talking about how in order to combat inflation, what we must do is depress wages. That in and of itself is still factoring in corporate profits into the equation without ever tackling the concept of corporate profits or profit margins getting smaller and smaller. If your worldview does not revolve around corporate profits taking a hit in any capacity, if that is never a solution, then someone's got to pay. Who's got to pay? The workers. That is the component that is always seen as disposable. Who are the workers? You, motherfucker. You are the workers. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think, oh, I went to college. Oh, I'm built differently. Like, you know, my parents are upper middle class. Like, we're going to be fine. It's like, no, your parents are workers too. Most of your parents are. On a press conference on May 4th, Powell announced that the Fed would be raising interest rates by 0.5% and implementing policies aimed at reducing inflation in the United States. The reason why they wanted to do it like this was because Powell said employers are having difficulties filling job openings and wages are rising at the fastest pace in many years. That was Powell's complaint. There are more job vacancies. This is all the way back in fucking this is all the way back in like March, I believe, or May. The beginning of May, he was talking about it. There are more job vacancies than there are unemployed people in the United States as the economy recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic. Powell claimed this discrepancy between job vacancies and unemployment is due to high wages, which discourages workers from taking bad, low-paying jobs with few benefits and therefore give them too much power. Wages are running high, the highest they've run in quite some time. Workers need to be disciplined by the labor market. He said, there's a path by which we would be able to have demand moderate in the labor market and therefore, have vacancies come down without unemployment going up because vacancies are such at an extraordinarily high level. There are 1.9 vacancies for every unemployed person, 11.2 million vacancies, and 6 million unemployed people. That is basically saying we gotta starve you out. So you shut the fuck up and you go back to work for wages that are ridiculous and take on conditions that are absolutely unattainable, inhumane. It doesn't matter. Definitely not a supply issue. Definitely a people having too much spending power issue. The fuck is wrong with these evil people? Yeah. Even if it is people having too much spending power, there are two components to this. If there's too much demand, if demand is heating up and supply can't keep up with it, why the fuck don't you improve supply? How are you going to not improve supply then? No. It's the demand that we must curb. Leaked Bank of America memo. We hope conditions for American workers will get worse. The memo, a mid-year review from June 17, was written by Ethan Harris, the head of global economics research for the corporation's investment bank arm, Bank of America Securities. It's a specific aspiration. By the end of next year, we hope the ratio of job openings to unemployed is down to more normal highs of the last business cycle. Now, let me tell you another truth. Okay. At the heart of this kind of sentiment, this anti-worker sentiment, is also the exact same reason why labor unions have been fucking eviscerated. The more disposable workers are, the closer they are to a number, the easier it is to just fucking depress wages. Okay. The easier it is to bully you. The easier it is to make sure that like you can't take time off because your dog is dying and you want to take him to the fucking vet. But sorry, it's actually the weekend rush, so you have to work in your service sector job. If you don't do that, then next week we're going to cut your hours down to 0. You can only get away with doing shit like that if your bosses And your managers can only get away with doing shit like that if you don't have any fucking protection. And the only way that you can get protection in the capitalist organization of the economy is by engaging in collective action, collective bargaining. The only way to do that right now is through unionizing. Okay? You wouldn't need a fucking globally eviscerating mass pandemic to be able to finally arrive at like a genuine shortage for low pay, like for people willing to take on low pay jobs in shit conditions. You understand? Having labor unions, or at the very least labor unions that have already negotiated for the entire sector in collective bargaining agreements for entire sectors like they do in France, means every day is like a fucking COVID pandemic induced tight labor market. A better future is possible, even under a capitalist mode of production. The memo contains amid a push by the Federal Reserve to cool down the economy, informed by much of the same rationale that high wages are driving the inflation. This year, the Fed has increased interest rates for the first time since 2018. Historically, this has often caused recessions, and that is exactly what appears to be happening now. The Commerce Department reported Thursday that the gross domestic product has fallen for the second quarter in a row, indicating that recession may already have begun. What the memo calls the ratio of job openings to unemployed is generally calculated the other way around, i.e. the ratio of unemployed people to job openings. The more widely used ratio offers one measurement of the balance of power between workers and employers. The lower this number, the more options unemployed people have when searching for work, and greater opportunities employed people have to switch to jobs with better paying conditions. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this ratio stood at 0.5 as of May, meaning that there were then 2 job openings per unemployed person. In 2009, at the worst moments of the economic calamity that followed the collapse of the housing bubble during the end of George W. Bush administration, the ratio climbed as high as 6.5. So there were more than 6 unemployed workers for each open job. It then slowly declined over the next decade, reaching 0.8 in February 2020 before COVID-19 lockdowns began. This recent unusual moment of worker leverage made Bank of America quite anxious. The memo expresses distress about a record tight labor market. Bro, this is just labor power. Like, make no mistake. What these people are openly stating is, holy shit, workers have more power. Like, and we need to keep profits the same, right? Because you can't cut into your profit margins. Remember, you can't ever cut into your profit margins. Profits have to stay the same. So when workers are asking for more, a larger cut of the profits, they freak the fuck out. This is, as Cinemarxism with a good take, once again, anarchists can have good takes on this issue. This is class war. Billionaires and millionaires express class solidarity regularly. They have incredible amounts of class consciousness, and they engage in class war every fucking day. And they can do it openly, like this. But because of the way you learn micro and macroeconomic principles, that's not considered class warfare. Class warfare is only when the proletariat fights back against the conditions that they have been subjected to. Class warfare is seen as a novelty. How many Hallmark movie tropes have you seen where some dad is overcoming his evil corporate boss, saying something like, if you skip work on Christmas Day to be with your family, you're fired? The memo expresses distress about record tight labor market, stating that wage pressures are going to be hard to reverse. While there may have been some one-off increases in some pockets of the labor market, the upwards pressure extends to virtually every industry, income, and skill level. The memo recalls a previous Bank of America memo in 2021, which it says warned of very strong momentum in the labor market, suggesting the economy would not just hit, but blow through full employment. Fast forward to today, these trends have been worse than expected. The memo is an uncanny demonstration that economist Adam Smith was right when he described the politics of inflation in his famed 1776 work, Wealth of Nations. High profits tend much more to raise the price of work than high wages, Smith argued. Our merchants and master manufacturers complain much of the... Bro, this fucking Adam Smith guy, bro. I mean, this... Actually, not fuck the Adam Smith guy. This Karl Marx guy, he was a fucking plagiarist, brother. I mean, straight up. So aggressively stole from this dude. Meanwhile, you only hear about some of the things that Adam Smith mentioned and not all the other things that Adam Smith actually mentioned in your school when you're learning about Adam Smith. I wonder why. Adam Smith's take on landlords, for example, are not heavily featured in fucking econ classes. I would like history of economics. It's just weird. I don't know. Okay. Marx stole everything he wrote from Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. True. Our merchants and master manufacturers complain much of the bad effects of high wages and the raising price. They say nothing concerning the bad effects of high profits. They are silent with regards to the pernicious effects of their own gains. They complain only those of other people. It's almost like there is an antagonism amongst these two classes that Adam is mentioning. If I were to say, you know, the profit seeker capital owners, like business owners, versus the actual people that provide the value, i.e., the laborers. That's is there like a direct antagonism there? Is that what he's saying? Huh. Interesting. Much to consider. Thus, exactly as Smith would have predicted, Bank of America complains loudly about the bad effects of high wages and raising prices, but appears to be silent about the pernicious effects of high profits. You would never, in a million fucking years, hear an economist say these profit margins are too fucking high. Corporate profits are sky high. We got to fucking deal with this. The economy is heating up. We have to do something about this. These motherfuckers are going crazy with their pricing. You will never hear that. It's not going to happen. Here, what is Yanis Varoufakis saying?
We have a moral and political duty to empower ourselves and our children to speak authoritatively about the economy. And the reason for that is that in the world we live, the economy penetrates every dimension of life. It would be a tragedy for democracy. Plato will have won his greatest victory, crushing the fragile flower of democracy, if we all are convinced by the establishment, by the powers that be, by the economics profession, by finance ministers and so on, by the International Monetary Fund, by the Federal Reserve, that we better leave the matters of the economy to the experts, to the economists. See, I have no problem with experts. I'm not a climate change denier. I love science. I believe that if we need to build a bridge, we need experts to build it. It would be stupid to build it democratically. If we all have a view...
My man, dude, I love that. I too hate democracy. On God, that's not even a joke. I do. I 100% agree with this funny voice man and the other funny voice man, Zizek, when he talks about like, you know, when he's preaching that anti-anarchist truth. Oh my God, I get so hard thinking about that. Sorry, let's continue.
View as to how, you know, what to do to build a bridge. The bridge will collapse and we are going to be responsible for many, many deaths. But the economy is not like civil engineering projects. The economy is society. It's you and me. It is everything. It's easy to mistake.
Why do you hate democracy? Just curious. I just don't think that, like, if you had to make democratic decisions on every aspect of your life, you would literally not be able to have fun. And that's it. I'm pro fun and totally, you know, I'm totally on board with just like allowing some of these mechanisms to work on its own. Okay.
Economics, the study of the economy, for a science, except it isn't. Nature doesn't give a damn about our predictions, but society is our predictions, because society is what you and I do, and what you and I do depends on what you and I believe. So if we believe something and suddenly we change with our belief, that belief, the change in belief, feeds into a different social and economic outcome. So the phenomenon that we're studying as...
What? It's like Stalin said, I speak for the people, I speak for what the people want, even if they say otherwise. True.
Economists is intertwined, inextricably linked to our own theories about it. So economics is part of the phenomenon it tries to explain. So we like, you know, a cat chasing its own tail. That's why it can never be a science.
True. There's no world in which you're like, yo, man, a recession is about to happen, and then everybody starts saying a recession is about to happen, and then you can literally trigger a recession by getting people to fucking decrease confidence in the market. Like, it's just, that's ridiculous. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Exactly. And by the way, this is not a fucking hidden truth. Like, this is something that, like, literally econ professors will describe to you. The Daily had an unironic entire fucking article about it yesterday or the day before yesterday, where they were talking about the self-fulfilling prophecy of inflation. It's just like, it's ridiculous. But more importantly than that, it's additionally ridiculous to try and analyze or try to quantify as best as you can the way that human beings operate when there is an entire fucking industry, like a multi-billion-dollar industry dedicated to changing human behavior, which is called marketing. Like, that's just wild. You're like, oh man, we have on the one hand a multi-billion-dollar industry, okay, that straight up makes you fucking purchase shit that you don't even need and makes you not behave like a rational actor. And we're over here still being like, no, it's like the market is controlled by rational actors that are buying, and the supply demand is totally fucking working. And if only the markets were freer.
Ever. Anybody who tells you economics is a science is either a fool or is trying to fool you. There is no third option.
Good take by Giannis.